Hi, I'm Natasha. I work for the health services business within Bupa. Today, I'm going to take us on a CX deep dive into the dental business to talk through what are the activities that we are investing in to ensure we achieve the maximum value and experience for our customers. When it comes to designing a CX strategy, we have to understand who our customers are in order to map the current state experience, to identify and prioritize pain points, develop personas, and most fundamentally, understand how we use all of the data we have access to help design a future state CX vision and experience to strive for. An extensive engagement with the dental business to better understand our customers, their needs, and their pain points. So, this here really articulates the discovery phase, getting our customer understanding done right, the definition stage, landing on our target experience, and then the deliver stage. So, that's delivering a CX roadmap and targets. Um, what makes up a good CX strategy? A good CX is effective, it's efficient, and it exceeds customers' expectations. It's easy to find, understand, and use. We want to create convenient and simple services for our dental customers, and we want to ensure that we have the right tech enablers to drive those outcomes. So let's unpack what we did to get to know our Bupa Dental customers. We really looked at all of the existing qualitative interview research conducted over the past 18 months, as well as any quant analysis. I looked at high level indicator metrics such as NPS scores, but wanted to dive deeper and really understand every aspect of the current state journey and how customers behave and feel and think in each micro moment across the life cycle. And to do that, I assessed digital behavior by using tools such as Hotjar, reading conversion funnel dashboards, and analytics dashboards. I presented this analysis back to the business in the form of a current state journey map, which I'll speak to shortly. We prioritized 36 pain points that I uncovered with the business. And from there, we conducted a root cause analysis on about 16 of those pain points to understand why these issues were occurring. So I communicated with stakeholders, but also have a digital backlog of all the pain points to ensure they don't get lost and the business can keep addressing them. So, in order to build out the view of the current state customer journey, I needed to conduct some in depth customer interviews. So, I created a discussion guide which focused on our understanding gaps that we had and like the gray areas we wanted to do a bit more of a deep dive into. And we really wanted to know more about our customer expectations around specific areas of the customer journey relating to treatment plans, the communications preferences, and their feelings or lack thereof in relation to trust for dentists and also dental practices. So I summarized these key findings from the interview, which you can see in this slide, and I used those findings to help develop some really key considerations to develop the persona. So such as how might we enable this customer to see and experience Bupa value in their everyday life? So this was the fundamental insight that we had to help create our persona. So this is our persona. This is Helen. And I guess Helen's been really created to help our stakeholders better understand and have empathy for our customers. So in order to do that, we worked with a design team to create this persona artifact. I can't be a claim to fame on that. And that's where, with Helen and this persona, we're really calling out her key needs, behaviors, and frustrations that we as a group need to address to design this future state experience. So creating this persona was critical in taking the business on the journey in designing for Helen, a busy mom who needed convenient, transparent, and simple services that accommodate for herself and for her children. So creating the current journey map was simple. I used the outputs from the interview and the persona to address the key needs, but also really took into consideration the trends and patterns I had identified in the data that we had and all of the stakeholder interviews that I conducted with our internal teams. So this helped solidify that this journey considered common trends, behaviors, and pain points that consistently appeared for lots of customers. I listed the pain points that existed across the key 4 stages of the journey. At this point, we had identified the research gaps and had conducted further qual research to understand the grey areas in customer understanding. I worked directly with a core group of dental stakeholders, including practice managers, dentists, hygienists, marketing stakeholders, and even digital teams to start getting to the root cause analysis of understanding why our customer pain points were occurring and to really start ideating for the future state journeys. So I got the business to rate the current state journey map, and they agreed that the service of today was a 4-star journey. So lots of room for improvement. So in the ideation workshops with breakout groups of 7 different and very diverse stakeholders from across the business, I helped facilitate what does a 6-star experience look like? Okay, how about a 7-star experience? And we worked our way incrementally up to a 10-star experience. And then it was up to me to amalgamate the two 10-star experiences against all of the data and insights that we had to design this future state experience map that's really keeping Helen at the heart of the design. So, to land on our future state vision, we really need to ensure that we defined a clear customer promise that addressed the experiential needs of Helen. So, we developed CX guide rails to ensure we continue to keep that promise by ensuring the solutions we design for our customers really meet that criteria. So, we developed these by assessing all of the data pain points, behaviors, and insights we have to ensure we all have a shared view of what needs are required in order to achieve our North Star vision. So now that we've landed on these, we socialize these guide rails constantly. They become the beating heart of the customers we design for. This slide shows the CX guide rails on the left, which really address the experiential needs from Helen around transparency and being informed and having a personalized experience. And on the right, we're looking at the emerging trends and opportunities. So we've identified industry and consumer trends to also help understand channel attributes and how we should design the experience of the future. So, a trend that we consider is around consumer behavior is the shift to mobile computing, where everything customers do, they do on their mobile phones. So, the most important consideration with this type of trend analysis is to understand the shift in our customers' behavior and their expectations and perceptions of trust of dental practitioners so that we can invest in tactics that will ensure the best possible overall CX. So, after an extensive engagement process, I had all the inputs I needed to design the future state experience for our Bupa dental persona, Helen. Effectively, I actually didn't design this. This was designed through data and insights and extensive stakeholder engagement and interviews. And the dental business actually ended up designing this in the ideation workshop. So this here, what you're looking at is an optimized map where I haven't really changed any of the existing steps or touch points within the journey, but instead looking at measuring the efficiency and effectiveness and overall satisfaction with each step provides. So the journey stages are key here. They address the pain points in the previous current state journey map and they speak to customer outcomes rather than prescribed solutions. So it's really important that we first focus on the customer outcome that we're seeking to achieve and then go into architecture strategic mapping to determine what enablement capabilities and operational initiatives are required to achieve that customer outcome. So along the top here, we've got discover and book. And the first journey stages is we're designing for Helen and we've got a journey description of Helen up the top here of the slide. But at the first journey stage, it's 2 weeks into her Bupa HI membership. Helen receives a personalized EDM promoting family friendly dental practice. So I won't go through the entire journey because we're short on time, but effectively, this is what the artifact looks like to date. So this is the next stage, and this is looking at horizon mapping to really understand the feasibility of achieving that future state journey outcome. So here is where we've assessed the capability gaps across people, process, and tech and have determined what's required to achieve the future state vision for Helen. This is an in-depth view towards achieving improvement on the future state map and identifies how feasible the future will be to achieve. It also shows how and when customer outcomes will be achieved over the 3 horizons. So we start by mapping out the enabling people, process, and tech initiatives to create this practice of the future. And then we start mapping out the viability and feasibility of building out these solutions over horizon-based timelines. So the bottom of the slide shows the pain points that we're addressing in each horizon, and also the tech enablement that's required to achieve that outcome. So this is going into a prototype version. So this is taking a really deep dive into this discover and book journey segment. We chose to go to high fidelity quickly here, and this was to test a new booking experience with users. We wanted to get it as near to what it's going to be in market anyway, so we can test with customers. And plenty of these screens existed already, but we wanted to introduce new components to the experience to enable Helen to book family time blocks so she could take herself and her two children to the dentist in one block booking. So we'd go through an iterative design cycle here to understand how customers interact with the proposed solution and determine the feasibility of it. So we constantly test new ideas using prototyping or prototyping to ensure ideas have the right level of desirability from our customers and that they're feasible. So measuring customer experience is so important. Otherwise, we're just doing lots and lots of things and not really understanding if we're getting it right or if the effort we're undertaking is stacking up to achieve our long term vision. So we have a clear vision and clear goals, but now it's up to us to implement measurement frameworks to measure the CX. We have already adopted customer experience metrics at Bupa using NPS as a high level indicator on performance. But in order to truly track how each of these initiatives are attributing to achieving that future state experience for Helen, we need to dive deeper and build out key measurement frameworks against each initiative so that we can continuously track how each piece of effort is turning the dial and achieving our North Star vision. We want to start to analyze consumer behavior, including web chat messaging, computer analysis, and introducing customer listening programs called a customer care corner. We want to be less reactive and we want to be on the forefront so that we have to understand our users. We can't keep looking back at Helen, the persona that we've created over a period of time, because she's going to change. Her feelings and attitudes and behaviors will change as the world around her does. So we constantly need to analyze the data we have access to and continually iterate our personas and the journey as they would do in real life.